port for pickup. EB1 terminal, Port of Tacoma. All loaded up. Time to take her home. Back home from the port, got it unloaded into the garage. It's the next day because when I got home, it was pitch dark, so I couldn't see anything anyways, and I had to return the truck. So I just took it off, brought it in. Going through the exterior, it looks like it has some dings and scratches, but nothing too bad. That sticker could be replaced. Going through there, that's not too bad. Body filler and paint were used here. Oh well. And then going around the rest, also just more dings and scratches. They just completely spray painted the roof. Like, that's not glossy or anything, so I assume it was sun bleached and that was the best they could do. But, oh well. That's for the front. It's also just in good of a shape. Oh, a little bit of a paint chip, that's fine. Windshield doesn't have a crack or chip on it. The rest of the windows are in the same kind of shape, so we're all good. Now to check out the shape of the interior. So when I picked this up, the very next day I got it detailed because this entire interior was just covered in dirt, grime, grease. As you can see, it's all in pretty good shape. It cleaned up pretty well. Whole console, front dashboard's in good shape. Manual shift knob's in good shape. This is also pretty tight. So it looks like whoever owned this recently did a good job keeping it up. So carpet is pretty good once it got cleaned up. Same for the roof lining. However, this window is missing its handle, and I hear those are hard to come by. Also, when I picked this up from the port, these panels were missing their screws, so I think the port just kind of threw them away after they disconnected the battery. Put this up, and up, and rear seats are in pretty good shape. So is that terribly ugly floor mat. I love it. And hey, if your rear passengers complain, where's my seatbelt? You say, you got your OS bar right there. Well, how does the OS bar work? While I'm driving, you go, oh shit. So it's in pretty good shape overall. I'm actually surprised with how good a shape it is, considering it has 110,000 miles on it. So I guess we just lucked out. You might notice something's already changed, the wheels. These were the old tires that were on the vehicle. They're in pretty bad shape, and so I got these shipped from Japan thanks to All Things JDM with a Z. Closer look, they're the Mudstar Radial ATs. The rim is the Monza JP style Banny. They're the same size as the old ones, 145 ADR12s. I didn't want to get something too much bigger. Being a van, I wanted to keep it a bit lower to the ground. So now we're gonna go through a full round of maintenance to kind of bring it up and getting ready to drive. Stopped by the Honda dealership to pick up some fluids. Got some coolant, some 10W30 synthetic oil, manual transmission fluid, and some gear oil since it is a four-wheel drive van. And got this box from rightdriveparts.com. It has a timing belt kit, filter kit. Sadly, the metal comp is on hold while we wait for some new tires and a headlight, but found a couple of Japan Yahoo auction links, sent them to All Things JDM, and he's getting them sent right over. So to keep it in good shape, let's do that full round of maintenance and keep it going. Jack point you want to use is the rear axle because the engine's in the back, so we'll lift that up. We'll be starting with an oil change first. I'm actually going to have to thank RHD Ron for how to do this because I watched his video. I'll put the link in the description, but I'm mostly just kind of copying him. So we started with 10W30 oil, oil filter, crush washer, and a torque wrench. A 17mm socket. New 14mm crush washer. Tighten it to 33 foot-pounds. Go ahead and remove the old oil filter. Let that drain. Now that we got the new filter out, we'll just fill it up with some oil so that way the engine doesn't start dry. And make sure there's a bit of oil around the gasket. Shit. And hand tight. Fill it up with 2.5 quarts of oil, so pulling in this little guy here. Bit hard to see, but the dipstick is right behind the wheel right here. Back in, right back out. Right at about the midway point, so we'll just start the engine to make sure everything circulates through and add any more as necessary. Starts right up. Now we'll do a manual transmission fluid change using the Honda Genuine manual transmission fluid and 2 crush washers. For the transmission, we have the drain and fill bolt. Drain is just a 3/8 inch socket. Fill bolt needs a 17mm socket. Added a 14mm crush washer to the drain bolt. Now we'll add about 1.3 quarts or until it starts coming back out of the fill hole. Now we'll go ahead and put the bolt back with a new 20mm crush washer. It's still at 33 foot-pounds of torque. The last one will change the differential fluid because it is a 4-wheel drive van. So we have the Honda genuine gear oil and this time 2 20mm crush washers. Take the fill bolt off using a 17mm socket. The drain bolt using a 3/8 inch adapter. Now that that's drained, we'll put the bolt back on with a new 20mm crush washer. This will take about half a quart or until it starts spilling out of the fill hole. All full. New 20mm crush washer. And just as before, 33 foot-pounds torque. We'll now do the air filter and fuel filter, and that should be good for now. Fuel filter is in the middle under the passenger side, right there. Pay close attention to this arrow on the bump so you make sure you install the fuel lines back in the right spot. Now to get this out, there's this little tab that's just right there. Now it's loose. Warm it up so it's easier to take off because it's pretty cold right now. Use a trim removal screwdriver. So yeah, that's the old one, and that's what came out of it. I think this one looks like it's in a bit better shape. Snap those rings back on and should be all good. Now for the most difficult part, the air filter. Yeah, that was so hard. Looks to be in pretty good shape, but let's swap it out. New one. That's it. Now that's all done, I have all these other parts of the engine: timing, alternator, AC belt, thermostat, tensioner pulleys, water pump, spark plugs, distributor cap, rotor, but we'll save this all for another video. So done for now. As you can see, the roof rack came in while I was doing all this, so I decided to pop that on, see what it looks like. I like it, so I'm gonna keep it on. Some outgoing notes: the battery was dead when I picked this up. It was half full, added some distilled water. It's been working great ever since after I recharged it. Also, I'd recommend an oil pump because trying to fish a hose through those wheel wells was a huge pain, and I think an oil pump would have made a lot of the work I did a lot easier. Also, trying to replace the fuel filter in cold weather was a huge pain, which I struggled with for an hour until I heated up the hoses. Then it came off super easy. Lastly, I'd recommend going to lulu.com. They have the Honda Acty service manual with everything translated English, which was also a huge help along the way. And I'll save all the other maintenance updates I have going on for another video. Bye.